Hey, what's up guys? I'm gonna switch these tires out like that. This is how the tires are packaged to be shipped out. This is exactly how I received it, and I've removed the cover for one of them. That's what the rim looks like. It's all by TSportline. Links down below if you guys are interested. So the newer tire is a tad bit wider, and it's also a tad bit taller, if you guys could see. It's about maybe a ½ inch taller, maybe a little bit more taller. So that's really the comparison. $27.5, I would say. Maybe a little bit more, since this tire does have 17, almost 18,000 miles on it. So it had a little more tread. This one's closer to 28.5. Alright, let's scientifically see how much this thing weighs with my bathroom scale. It is 64.4 pounds. Let's see how much the original tire weighs without the hubcap. 53 pounds. So this is all the equipment you need to change out the tires. So you need a jack. You need one of these jack pad things, which this is by Reverse Logic, but there's a whole bunch of companies that make this. Even I believe TSportline makes that. A 21mm socket. I have one that's non-marring. And we have a breaker bar. We have our torque wrench. It's going to be 129 foot-pounds. And we have the impact wrench. That's optional, really. It just makes life easier.
There are lots of tire shops that swap wheels, so if you don't feel comfortable doing this, then please don't do it. This is very dangerous. Now this demonstration is for tutorial purposes only. Before I begin, I made sure to engage the parking brake and placed 2x4s behind the rear tires for extra security. Now the car has 4 jack points, so you use one of these Reverse Logic, pretty much these jack pad things, and you place it there, and that's where you want to jack up the car. Please don't jack it from anywhere else. You can damage the car, you could damage the battery, bad things will happen. So again, please don't do this if you don't feel comfortable doing this. Now I'm currently using the breaker bar to loosen the lug nuts. So before you lift up the car, you do want to loosen these, so when you lift it up you can actually take out the lug nuts. So now that I have all 5 lug nuts loose, and you don't want to take out the lug nuts, you just want to give it that initial spin to just basically loosen it up just a bit, and that's where you want to jack up the car. Now don't jack it up too high because it's going to make changing the tires out more difficult. I am using the impact wrench because it makes life easier. You don't need to use this. You could just use any socket wrench for this. Notice the way I'm taking out the lug nuts. I'm holding it in my hand because if these things fall on the rim, they could put little nicks in there if you care about that sort of thing. Now the last lug nut, I'm holding the bottom of the rim to hold it in place, and then I'm going to pretty much lift it and good to go. And then I'm going to bring the new tire and pop it in place. There's nothing you need to put in between. This thing goes straight. It's basically a straight replacement, and you torque it to 129 foot-pounds just like with the original. Now this thing is heavy, so again, going to a tire shop would make life much easier. So now it's just reversing the process. So basically I use the same lug nuts and I use the same impact wrench, and I secure the tire in place without going too crazy in terms of foot-pounds. So once it's tightened, then you lower the car, and then that's when you use the torque wrench to tighten it to 129 foot-pounds, which is pretty much when you hear the click. Once you hear the click, it's done. Then I am using the star pattern, and there it is, good to go. And be sure to recheck after you drive around 50 miles or so to just re-tighten with the torque wrench just to make sure it is at 129 foot-pounds.
Already at this point, it looks much nicer. Now this car, since it was brand new, has had 17,000, well, it has almost 18,000 miles, and the efficiency is 252 watt hours per mile, which is really good. So that basically means that for every mile it requires 252 watts of energy. And the lower the number, the better off it is. And for an SUV, that's honestly really, really, really good. But that's with the aero wheels. The hubcaps were also on the whole time, so that makes sense. Now, I just reset trip B, and I'm going to drive it for a few hundred miles, maybe even up to 1,000. And I'm going to see what my watt hours per mile is with the newer tires.
Much later.
1,065 miles have been driven on these tires, and the average energy usage is 309 watt hours per mile, which roughly makes it 23% less efficient compared to the aero wheels with the aero wheel hubcaps on. Alright guys, so now that the verdict is out, let's talk about their differences and similarities. Well, let's start with the similarities. So these wheels feel very, very similar to the original tires this car came with. In terms of road noise, minimal. In terms of handling, very, very similar. So as you guys can see, we're going through some windy roads and it handles it without any issues. So fine, just like the normal one would. So I don't really see much of a difference between these tires and the standard one it came with. I think these would provide more grip if it was in more of a if it was snow or mud or things like that. I think this would have more traction. Now, these aren't sport tires, or it's not going to grip like the Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s or whatever, anything like that. If I didn't know these tires were changed, I would almost not be able to tell the difference. The only giveaway is that it might be a placebo effect, because I don't have a device to actually verify this, but these new tires tend to feel slightly slower on full acceleration. And it might be a placebo effect because I did weigh the wheels and these do weigh more on each wheel, but completely transforms the look of this car. And it just makes it look more beefy, looks more like an SUV. It just makes it, I don't know, it's just awesome. And again, I'm less worried going on these dirt roads or things like that. Obviously, this doesn't give me the confidence to take this thing like legit off-roading, because that's something I don't plan on doing with this Model Y. That's for the Cybertruck. I also really like the fact that the tires are sticking out a little bit more than the rims, in case you make a boo-boo and hit the curb. As long as you touch it gently, I don't think the rims will be scratched. I really like these wheels. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like the way it looks? Did it look better before? Does it look is it too much for the Model Y? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I will do a 6-month or so update with the wheels, to give you guys even a better feel for him. But I think over 1,000 miles, gotten a better sense of everything, and it's just been solid wheels. I really, really like them. Let me know what you guys think in the comment sections below, and as always, smash that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.